awaited Minari bypass opens, EU delegation expresses confidence in coalition's governance style, and $17 million in presidential grants for Morocco. These stories and more in this week's InfoHub recap, where we review stories covered for the week of April 8 to 11.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
The coalition government officially opened the long-awaited Minari bypass in the Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo region. The bypass was constructed through a collaboration between the Ministries of Public Infrastructure and Natural Resources.
The bypass has been a sore subject for many who had lost friends and loved ones on what has been described as a dangerous turn just before entering the tongue of Lethem.
In 2017, due to the number of accidents taking part along this strip, in particular fatalities, JR Ranch Incorporated lobbied the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, who, in collaboration with the Ministry of Natural Resources, built this bypass.
It is of extreme importance to us in government and to the people of Region 9. It may appear to be just a road, but many people lost their lives here because of the turn and the way it was constructed badly. And so the bypass really takes out the turn and makes it one straight road onto the bridge.
The year before the last we did Purara Bridge, and this year we're now doing Minari. It's expected that this year will save lives, cut down the travel time.
Both Ministers Trotman and Patterson cut the ribbon to mark the official opening of the Minari bypass on Saturday. They were accompanied by Malika Kamabad from the Arapaima Primary School. Also present were Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Sidney Alicock, Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Valerie Garrido-Lowe, Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin, GGMC Commissioner Newell Dennison, and Lethem Mayor John Macedo. For InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
With the new Minari bypass in place, government is already moving ahead with its plans for a new Minari bridge and further infrastructural developments in Lethem, Region 9.
We're also doing a bridge, a $160 million concrete bridge. So obviously, it is designed that when the new highway comes, it will be appropriate. So you don't have to do a new bridge, so we get ahead of the curve.
Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson. The new bridge will be 4 lanes. According to Minister Patterson, the road is already 14 meters wide, matching what the ministry has in mind for a new highway. Following Saturday's Minari bypass commissioning, Minister Patterson met with the Rupununi Chamber of Commerce and Industry to discuss further infrastructure developments for the region. Among those projects to be immediately undertaken are main roads in the township of Lethem, a solar energy plant, and the airport and airstrip. For InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
Minister of Social Cohesion with responsibility for sport, Dr. George Norton, has expressed his satisfaction with ongoing works on the Berbice and Linden synthetic cracks.
During a visit to the sites on April 5th, Minister Norton, along with the technical team, inspected the works which are currently in the 3rd phase. This stage involves groundwork, laying of necessary drainage pipes, curb work, asphalting, and concreting where necessary. The minister said the conclusion of this project will allow athletes to meet new heights. Quoted, "I know that we're not so close to finishing, but we have moved along quite away from when we started. I'm impressed we are meeting our deadlines." Not only was he satisfied with the transformation of the Bay Rock Community Center ground in Linden, where the track is currently being laid, but also with the quality of work being carried out. Minister Norton said Region 10 has always positively contributed to sporting development in Guyana, and the athletes have always represented the country well at international competitions. He quoted, "Region 10 has been the foundation of sports and particularly track and field in Guyana. Without a synthetic track, now that we are going to have the state-of-the-art track right here, I'm expecting much more." End of quote. The minister noted that the works ongoing at the Berbice synthetic track is progressing nicely. The state-of-the-art Berbice and Linden synthetic tracks will have the necessary amenities for all field events. Phase 4 of the project will see the laying of the synthetic material for an 8-lane 400-meter track. The development of the pavilion and the additional space surrounding is a project that will be scheduled for a later date. The projects are expected to be completed at the end of the year. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Easter in Guyana and around the world is usually a time for family and friends. So what better way to bring families and friends together than a do-it-yourself kite-making camp? Let's take a look.
Hundreds of children turn out to a kite-making competition hosted by the Honorable Simone Brooms and her family in the Lodge Housing Scheme area. Several children expressed excitement to have the first-hand experience of kite making, a true Guyanese tradition. Making the kite frames was Marvin Cole, a Buxtonian, made famous for his expert kite making skills and his determination to ensure that the practice of traditional kite making remains alive. The children, aged 3 to 16, proudly cut, crafted and attached kite paper, tongues, baller, frills and other decorative additions to their masterpieces. Calvin Lewis said the activity was an excellent initiative.
What Minister has been put on is very well and very good because it educates the youth to different things. They're learning right now how to make kite and how to do your own thing. So I believe Easter is something when everyone to come together, especially the youths.
Minister within the Ministry of Natural Resources, Simone Brooms, explained that her family wanted to impact lives during this season.
The more frames we make, the more frames are going, and so I don't think it's not the number. It is the joy and the smile to the face of the children who actually made their own kite.
They're helping these young children just come out and show and express themselves in a way that they couldn't. Some of these kites are looking better than the kites that I flown from last year. It's a really good and fun experience, especially for the persons that really don't have that much money to buy a kite. They can at least show their creativity and make a kite of their own that they can be proud of and fly for this year's Easter 2019.
The kite-making competition provided a creative space for children to express themselves. These are one of kites made at the kite-making competition today in Lodge Housing Scheme. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
After meeting with Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senior Counsel Basil Williams, a delegation from the European Union on Tuesday stated its confidence in the governance style of the coalition government.
11 members of the European Union were hosted by the Attorney General at his chambers on Monday. This high-level meeting comes on the heels of the appeal court ruling on the December 21 vote in March 22. EU Ambassador to Guyana, Jernej Vijatic.
But for us it's important to see that there is a good governance and that the democracy is working, the principles are respected of democracy. This is what we heard, and we are satisfied with what we heard.
Though the timing of the meeting comes at a critical moment in the country's political affairs, the ambassador noted the meeting was in the pipeline for some time.
We were planning this meeting quite a few months ago, not knowing what will be happening here. So it was pure coincidence.
The EU delegation also plans to attend a number of meetings within the country to keep informed on the state of affairs. For InfoHub, Shaquille Bourne.
Following the meeting with the AG, the visiting 11-member EU delegation met with Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman to discuss collaboration in the area of renewable energy and to discuss issues of mutual interest.
Well, we met with EU ambassadors, obviously with great interest in Guyana, and we discussed matters of state, matters of national security, matters of the environment, mining, governance. So it was a far wide-reaching meeting.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman. The delegation of EU ambassadors will also be meeting with the opposition and other stakeholders. Matters of governance are among the issues on the agenda. Specifically, though, the entire EU body has offered to assist Guyana with its renewable energy plans. Finland has offered expertise in this area as well, while Austria has offered to support CARICOM in setting up a centre for renewable energy in Barbados. For InfoHub, Felicia Valenzuela.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the CARICOM Secretariat and the G. Haley Marvell Trust, hosted a Learning Disabilities seminar.
The timely seminar is lauded as necessary and will augment the work and efforts of the ministry. It is expected to move issues relating to children with learning and other disorders from the periphery to a central place in education delivery. Minister of Education Dr. Nicolette Henry said that her ministry is constantly looking for new ways to address learning disabilities.
We are striving to achieve an inclusive learning, teaching, and research attitude and culture to enable students, staff, and stakeholders to develop their full potential and ultimately contribute to the challenges of this day.
Dr. Douglas Slater, Assistant Secretary General for Human and Social Development at the CARICOM Secretariat, said the seminar will ensure that learners are equipped with the skills and competencies needed to nurture academic and social success.
This seminar is aligned with the principles and outcomes for this agreement and is a demonstration of the region's commitment to proactively engage with the demands for the provision of inclusive education.
The seminar serves as part of the ministry's nationwide educational interventions geared at improving the quality and inclusivity of education being delivered to all learners. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
A medical illness has not stopped 22-year-old Kelly Blount from soaring to higher heights. The proud owner of a business, she credits the government's Hinterland Employment Youth Service for her success.
My life before his was very hard. I used to depend on my mother, who is a single parent, to take care of me.
Today, this young lady, who hails from Siberian Old England, Region 10, is a proud owner of Kelly's Ice Cream Corner. This resilient entrepreneur suffer from seizures that are life-threatening, but that did not stop her from becoming her own boss, where she is now able to provide for herself and pay her medical bills.
I used to be very frustrated many days. Then haste came to my community and I was very lucky to be a part of the program.
Using the money from the HASTE program, Blunt's business has now expanded beyond ice cream.
As I started my business grow, as I just don't sell ice cream alone. I sell drink, juices, biscuit, and confectionery as a whole. I still suffer from seizures, but my life is easy now.
Blunt was one of the 161 small business owners that birthed from his to benefit from the second disbursement of the stimulus grant of $50,000. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Allicock.
We are very proud, very happy, very encouraged to know that those who stayed with the program or who stayed with the movement is doing well, but they need a little push to make them even bigger and brighter, more successful.
Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
On Wednesday, we reported that close to $17 million in presidential grants has been presented to Santa Rosa and its satellite communities in the Moruca Sub-District, Region 1.
Santa Rosa is the largest indigenous village in Guyana with a population of over 10,000. During a visit to the village over the weekend, the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Allicock, presented the 2019 grants to 11 satellite villages spread across the sub-district. Koko, Hutawari, Cabrora, and Rincon received $3 million each. Huradaya, $1 million, Kamwata, $1 million, Karaburi, $1 million, Walaba, $1 million, Waramuri, $800,000, Parakis, $1 million, Mora, $1 million, and Kumaka, $1 million. Parakis village used its funds to purchase carpentry and boat building tools and sports gear. Senior Councillor Terence Edwards explained that the remaining funds will be used to commence a training workshop in boat building.
As we know, in fact, youths are straying, and we need to get them back into the fold. So that's why I decided to embark on this program for them in sports, boat building, house building, furniture making, in order so they could make something for themselves.
Minister Alikok commended the village council for creating projects that target the young people in the village. He said it serves as motivation for the young people who are willing to learn a skill and help with the development of their respective villages.
In Parakees, or in this part of Region 1, Moruca Sub-District, we're very happy to see the enthusiasm of like the councillors, the tushos, the elders here, willing to teach, willing to be part of the development of youths through sports.
The Presidential Grants Program is aimed at creating self-sufficiency within the hinterland villages and communities through green innovative projects. This year, over $200 million will be invested in 215 villages and communities under the program. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
In keeping with the coalition government's plans to transform Guyana into a green economy, as outlined in the Green State Development Strategy, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure has signed a Solar System Memorandum of Understanding.
Representative of the Organization of American States, OAS, Jean Demore, focused on the significance this MOU means not only to Guyana, but the wider region.
I hope this model partnership and pilot project will spread even beyond Guyana shores. As it spread, we contribute to contain climate change, thus preserving the environment of our region and the planet for the well-being of the next generation.
Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson reiterated the government's commitment towards going green.
When this administration came to office about 4 years ago, renewable energy in Guyana was one single project, the Myla Falls Hydro. And we have moved in leaps and bounds. This is just another step in that pathway.
Chief Executive Officer for Guyana Power and Light, Albert Gordon, stressed the importance of a renewable energy project of this kind.
We'll have broadband capability, which would make available to facilitate customers being able to do more creative things, to better manage, as Devon said, to democratize their usage of energy, so they have more control over it.
The Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, CARICOM, and the Ministry of Agriculture are also partnering to ensure the execution of the solar system project. Reporting from the Minister's boardroom at the Ministry of Public Infrastructure with videographer Jawan Jordan, Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
To raise awareness and up the number of forestry-based legal operations, the Environmental Protection Agency, through the FAO EU Forest Law Enforcement Governance Trade Program, has embarked on a series of workshops to better inform owners on the process of becoming authorized.
We're here at the Guyana Forestry Commission's Yarrowcabra Training Center, where a number of community forest organizations are undergoing training from the Environmental Protection Agency in how they can go about receiving their environmental authorizations.
We have a fusion of Regions 3, CFOs from Regions 3 and 4 participating in this workshop, and it actually familiarized them with not only the work of the Environmental Protection Agency, but more so educated them on the process and the procedure as it relates to applying for an environmental authorization. So ultimately the goal of this project or of this program is to equip CFOs with the requisite knowledge and skills that they need to become authorized and remain compliant.
Many of the persons present were extremely happy to attend the workshop, especially Gilbert George, who was never really a fan of these workshops to begin with.
This workshop was a difference. You know, it tells us about the environment, protecting the environment, and how we could sustain it for the future generation, which is very good. And it also tells us that how we could keep working and building with the environment and build ourselves as a community and as a group.
The project has so far been extremely impactful, helping hundreds of participants to be able to properly register for environmental authorization.
We are targeting 6 to 9 community forest organizations. So far we would have workshop with 37 of them, and we held with this recently concluded workshop it would have been 10. So far we were able to meet with 264 participants, and we expect to meet with another 60 from the other 2 workshops we have planned.
To wrap up the training, participants were taken to a sawmill within the vicinity and briefed on how to use the various equipment used by the EPA to carry out their site checks.
Today's participants were given an opportunity to shadow the Environmental Protection Agency as they perform a mock exercise around this particular sawmill, testing the various things that they look for during an inspection. With videographer Kareem Peters, I'm Nikosi Bruce for InfoHub.
In its bid to improve the performance in mathematics at the national grade 6 assessment level, the Ministry of Education's mathematics camps have been operational in several schools across Guyana.
In the lead up to this year's national grade 6 assessment, the ministry has continued its maths camps, with SAW grade 6 pupils attending classes from 9 hours to 12 hours on Saturdays. The initiative is geared at improving performance in the subject area. Parents and teachers had also raised concerns about the curriculum not being completed on time, a fault the sessions will make up for. Region 4 Education Officer Shariazad Atkinson cited parents' improved involvement and support for the initiative.
It's well received by the parents. Most parents are cooperating with us to send their children to the maths camp.
The sessions are being offered at no cost and therefore are not to be misconstrued for extra lessons. The initiative is expected to see math coordinators and monitors organizing and being actively involved in this exercise, along with teachers from various schools. Math monitor Narpati Mohammed said the children are benefiting from the camp.
They come because they enjoy it, they come because they're learning more. They get individual attention on Saturdays.
The program entails training for teachers in content and methodology for efficient delivery, with over 1,000 teachers being trained in this regard.
Many of our teachers are working assiduously to ensure that we actually see an improvement in terms of our performance when compared to last year.
Last year, the mathematics intervention saw the ministry recording a 46% pass rate in the area of mathematics. This came on the heels of a daunting pass rate of 40% from the previous year. The 2019 sitting of the NGSA is slated for April 17 and 18. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Guyana and Cuba on Thursday wrapped up a 2-day meeting which will see the two states continuing collaboration on the movement of its peoples.
Both countries met this morning behind closed doors before signing a document to deal with issues of migration. Those migration issues discussed culminated with a call from the Cuban government for Guyana to abolish the non-visa requirement for Cuban nationals.
Areas being addressed are: 1, the need to abolish the visa requirement, the non-visa requirement for Cubans arriving in Guyana. As you are aware, Cubans are not required to have a visa to enter Guyana. Cuba is asking for that to be withdrawn. That is under discussion.
Our objective is to get a regular, orderly and safe flow of migrants between our two countries. That's why we request to review the issue of the visa.
Minister Felix said Cuba, in its efforts to manage its migratory flow, has also requested that the government shares information relating to applications for refugee status, as well as travel information for Cubans passing through the country. In the meantime, Minister Felix assured that Cubans will not be singled out or mistreated in any way.
Once they leave Cuba legally and they arrive here legally, we are going to accept them and treat them as all other members of the Caribbean family are treated.
From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Georgetown, Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Guyana will soon have its first ever state-of-the-art hospitality institute. The realization of this has been made possible with the signing of a $50 million contract.
Project coordinator Theron Sibbs said the project was birthed in recognition of the increasing demand for better service in the sector.
Guyana is very fortunate that now we'll actually be having one, and persons at the end of the day would be fully trained in accordance with CVQ standards and completion of the Hospitality Training Institute.
During brief remarks, Minister of Education Dr. Nicolette Henry expressed her satisfaction with the progress being made with the project, noting its timeliness.
It is an important project for us
particularly as we're about to get into oil and gas, and you know that we are expecting large number of persons coming to Guyana. That being said, we also have to ensure that those of us who are working in hospitality services are well trained.
Dean Kamaluddin, principal for Dean Plus Partners, disclosed the company has undertaken similar projects in the past and expressed confidence that it will complete the design within the stipulated timeline. In the latter part of 2018, the government pledged to prioritize the request of establishing a local hospitality institute by the Tourism and Hospitality Association of Guyana. The project is being executed through the Ministry of Education with funding from the Caribbean Development Bank. The institute will be constructed in the commercial area of Providence on the east bank of Demerara. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
Councillors of municipalities and neighborhood democratic councils are being empowered to address crime-related issues in their respective communities.
The Ministry of Communities, through the United States Agency for International Development USAID on Thursday, commenced a two-day session with members of the local democratic organs. The councillors of various municipalities and NDCs will now become catalysts of social change. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Communities, Emil Magarel, said Guyana's constitution guarantees that local government bodies also address social issues.
The activities of today and tomorrow marks a continued thrust towards redefining the functions of the local government system, redefining the approach of our leaders to take local governance to the level that it ought to be, and the redefining of the perception of our citizens about what local government is.
As part of their functions, Magarel said LDOs are responsible for preserving law and order, giving advice and support to the people, and to lead by example.
You are soon to become the catalyst for change in this matter of crime prevention. The workshop is about social crime prevention, a training for counselors, so that you will be in a position to effectively interface with the needed and targeted sections of your community for which this skill set will become important.
For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Passengers traveling with river transportation can now easily identify certified vessels. This safety initiative, implemented by the Maritime Administration Department, has been welcomed by boat operators.
Passengers can identify the boats by looking for the MARD stickers, which will be displayed at the front of the boats. The stickers indicate that the boats are licensed and certified by MARAD and are safe for traveling. Captains Stephen Bell and Steve Minari both commended the initiative.
It also will let people know that the boats who are current passengers are, the operators are licensed to carry passengers. And once you're licensed to carry passengers, it brings some amount of safety in terms of the entire, the whole boat operation. So I think it's a good venture. I think it's going to be something that will be welcomed by the associations throughout the length and breadth of Guyana.
Blue stickers are for the Bartica route, green for Supernam, purple for Leguan, and orange for Demerara.
The passenger they will know that there's a licensed vessel, them travel, and they will not go with the hostel boat more, because after hours, the hostel boat, them just charge them extra money, and them just eventually blame the licensed boats and the licensed captain also as well, because they say they come with a boat and they have to pay X amount of money, which is not the licensed bowman and captain and boat also. So that will help them. They will know. We will shine a light on some of the passengers, them who are regular travelers, and we will show them so they will know what's going on, and they will be able to help themselves after that.
Director of Maritime Safety, Captain John Flores, says the initiative was in response to a call by boat operators themselves.
The color will signify the route, and the route is also on the front of the boats. It's basically for passengers to know which are the boats that are certified as competent by MARAD. And those that are not, really they should not go on, because they probably are not safe to travel on.
Licensed boat operators can uplift the stickers at the Stelling for $1,500. Reporting from the Perica Stelling, I am Isaiah Braffett with videographer Anil Silal for InfoHub.
Do remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms for daily updates. This has been InfoHub Recap. Goodbye.